Hello everybody, greetings from the county line. If you've been following us this summer, you'll know that I ventured into town trying to find people to talk to about some of the problems that our country is facing right now, our society. And had a lot of luck. But today I have struck upon a topic that I've found myself unqualified to discuss. Because some people I trust, people probably smarter than me, have told me that because I'm an old white guy, I'm not really entitled to an opinion here. So the topic is sex. And I've invited a woman who is qualified to discuss this topic, Carrie Lupini, to join us this month and talk about sex, or more specifically, perhaps the unintended consequences thereof. Now, because this is a rather mature topic, I would ordinarily offer some sort of a disclaimer, get your kids out of the room, but I was talking to Michael Holsapple this morning, and if you've watched us this summer, you'll know who Michael was. You remember he's an academic, kind of an egghead. I like to refer to him as the A student because he knows a lot of stuff about everything, some of it relevant, some of it not. But he told me a story this morning about something that happened when he was 14 years old. He and some friends visited the Midway at the Knox County Fair in Vincennes, Indiana, 1968. He was about 14 years old. And one of his friends was playing some game of chance. I don't know whether it was ring toss or shooting gallery or what it was, but the kid won. And when it came time to select a prize, he picked up this deck of cards. And the guys they were very pleased when they opened the cards to find that the back side of each one was a photograph of a naked woman. Now this was 1968, so it was pretty subdued compared to what goes on today. But Michael's point of telling me this story, because the stories all have a point, was that he'd seen some statistics recently that indicated that most 7-year-old boys in America today have at least been exposed to pornography. And we're not talking about the stuff that was on the back of those playing cards in 1968. This is explicit stuff. And your conclusion might be that we're kind of obsessed with sex in this country, but we're really not. And we can get into that sometime later. But the whole sex theme leads us into the issue of reproductive rights, which can mean a lot of different things and go in a lot of different directions. But, some of our political candidates who you'll be voting for, at least by tomorrow, have put that at the forefront of their campaigns. And I've taken the liberty, Carrie, to flip through some headlines that I found online from prominent national news agencies, and I'd just like to read through them. Pro-life groups slam Harris for uncompromising abortion position, to which she responds, "Christians are not welcome." Pro-life faith groups react to Kamala Harris's rejection of religious exemptions for abortion. Michelle Obama hits back at abortion bans. She says women are more than baby-making vessels. Pro-lifers express religious liberty concerns after Harris rejects concessions on abortion. Kamala Harris wants to force Christian hospitals to perform abortions against their will. And Kamala Harris rejects religious exemptions for abortion laws and says that cannot be negotiable. Jennifer McCormick, our Democratic candidate for governor, she's staunchly pro-abortion, and told Howie Politics in the Kokomo Tribune this week that this election is a referendum on abortion rights. I don't know. There's a lot more going on in the world, obviously, than this, I think. I mean, in Indiana, we have among the highest maternal and mortality death rate in the country. Nationally, we're fighting 2 surrogate wars, at least paying for them. We've got a lot of issues besides abortion. So you are a woman, right?
Yes.
You just don't identify as a woman. You really are.
God
you
created
look like a
me.
woman. I just
God
wanted to make
created
sure.
me as a woman. Yes, He did.
And a mother.
Yes.
You have daughters?
I have 2 daughters and 4 sons.
And you had a mother. You
Yes.
have a mother.
I
okay.
have one,
So I guess you're qualified. At least you meet the criteria that's been laid out for me. So thanks for being here, Carrie.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Let's talk a little bit about these reproductive rights issues. First of all, abortion's in the forefront, and these 2 candidates, and apparently about 60% of the American population, feel it is an important issue. Why?
Well, I think we've been led to believe it's an important issue. They want us to think it's a very important issue. But I think that some women in this society have been led to believe that they will lose their rights if they have a child. They won't be able to fulfill their dreams if they have a child. They will be financially ruined if they have a child. And so society has a lot of negative connotations. But in actuality, having a child is very fulfilling. Women are strong and made to be able to not only have children, but to provide for children along with the support of people around them. It is how we were created. It's a beautiful thing to have a baby, to have a child, and it's very fulfilling to know that you cooperated with God to have these children and to raise them and see them become beautiful adults one day and carry on the generations in your family.
Well, this is going to get me in trouble with the ladies on The View if they ever happen to see this podcast, but what you just said counters the whole feminist agenda, doesn't it?
Yeah, being a woman and being able to cooperate with God to create life. God is the creator of life, but we cooperate with Him. And to carry a child in your body and to deliver that child and to feed that child is the greatest gift we could be given. It's an honor, it's a privilege. Yes, it's very hard work. It's the hardest job you'll ever do. But we're created strong and we are created to do this beautiful work that a man wasn't given that to do. So we're very unique. It's a very beautiful privilege to be able to do, even though it's very, very hard, but we are strong.
Yes, you are. I mean, you've 6 children, right?
Yes.
In total. So that's 6 opportunities to make the world better.
It really is.
Through your teaching and nurturing.
It really is. And each of my children have taught me so much. I grow and have grown through each child I've had. It's made me be a more developed person, not so self-centered. You really learn how to become more self-sacrificing. I can't think of another way to learn how to be more self-sacrificing and more patient and more kind than having a child. I just never would have known until I had my first child.
Nobody can explain. It's like being in combat, I suppose.
Oh, you
can't really.
No, you can't until you're there.
You've lived it.
Right. It takes a lot of sacrifice, a lot of personal growth, a lot of maturing comes through raising a child. But yeah, I have 5 biological and 1 adopted child. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, you may have touched on this, but I want to maybe reiterate, if you would. What are some of the reasons why a woman might consider aborting a baby?
There's so many reasons. A lot of it really is fear. They're very afraid, and it is scary. I mean, I'm not going to downplay that at all. It is scary, even for a woman who maybe wants to have a child and is planning on having a child. Once she finds out she really is pregnant, it can be kind of scary. Like, oh, this is real now.
It's life-changing.
Yeah, it's very life-changing.
Yeah.
It's real now. All of a sudden, it's not this dream. It's here. So it is scary. It's a reality that it is scary. It's unknown. You have a lot of questions. You have a lot of fears. There are some hormones involved that, can make that even worse. But, there's a lot of issues. Sometimes it just really isn't planned. She may have some financial worries, that she's worried about how am I going to raise this child when I'm having trouble getting by myself. Mm-hmm. Maybe the father is not in the picture anymore, or they've broken up.
Maybe they don't want the father in the picture.
And sometimes that's the case as well. So there's so many reasons. Sometimes she feels like, oh, this wasn't the right time. One day I want to have children, but now I'm not ready. I'm still in school. I don't have the job I want to have yet. I'm not ready yet. Well, I mean, we're never really 100% ready. If I had waited till I was ready, I'd still be waiting.
You just have to take a leap.
Yeah,
Right?
I know. You're never really 100% ready for this. And this is how, it's one of those things where you have to get ready. You just keep learning. You're never 100%. So you keep learning, you keep striving. And this is how we grow as adults. It does help you grow up, that's for sure.
There seems to be a conception or misconception maybe that the majority of women choose abortion out of economic necessity.
I'm not sure if it's a majority, but it could be, some women just feel like this is going to be an intrusion on their life that they weren't planning on. They don't want to change their life at all. They have it the way they want it, and they don't want to change it. Sometimes it's, what is my family going to think? Or I don't have the support of my family, or what are they going to think if the father of the baby isn't in my life? Or maybe I'm not sure who the father of the baby is. What are people going to think? So some of it can be that. Some of it can be that I'm not living where I want to live right now, or I can't have a baby where I'm going to live right now. My family won't want me here, living here with a baby. My apartment's too small. I can't afford a bigger one. These are, some issues. Maybe I've been on drugs. Maybe I've been drinking. Maybe I'm homeless. There's a lot of things that women are worried about. Sometimes it's their age. I'm too young. I'm too old. Sometimes it's things like I don't like the father of the baby, or who I think the father of the baby is. I don't want to have his baby. But you know what?
Liked him enough to sleep with him.
Yeah, but and there's just a lot of things like that. But sometimes it's a medical issue. They're worried that they have some medical issues, or they've been taking some sort of medication, and they can't have a baby because of that, or they're worried there's something wrong with the baby because of the medicine or the drugs they've been on. But in actuality, I mean, when we're talking about an issue as far as who the father of the baby is, I like to remind the woman that this is your baby. This is your baby. Yes, it's his baby, but it's your baby too.
Yeah, well, everybody, I think, at least I think, that there should always be a man in the picture. It's part of the problem, but that's a conversation for another time. So if a woman should choose abortion, do you know what happens, how that works?
Well, I think society has portrayed abortion as being safe and easy, and it's anything but. It's not easy. It's not always safe. Anytime you're talking about having a surgical procedure done, there are risk factors. There can be things involved with the anesthetic. There can be infection, and there can be what's called a perforation of the uterus, which is a puncturing a hole, can be a tear, can happen in the uterus. And these are all, especially the perforation of the uterus, can be very damaging. It could even make you barren so that you wouldn't be able to have children in the future. An infection that's not treated can do the same thing. So there are risk factors that you have to consider. As far as a chemical abortion, there's also risk factors. There's been women who have died after having taken the RU486 pills due to toxic shock syndrome. So it's not 100% safe. It really isn't. We like to talk to the women who are considering abortion to let them know the risk factors involved, because we do want them to have all the information that they can possibly have. We feel they deserve this information before they make such a life-changing, permanent decision. They need to know, and they deserve to know, all the facts related around it.
Can't you just take a pill now?
Yeah, that's what they think. It's just like popping an aspirin, right? But no, these are very strong medications that a woman is taking. They will affect her hormones. They will affect everything about her. We don't know the long-term effects of taking these medications, these strong, strong hormones. I've had women come in that have taken the morning pill or morning after pill or the Plan B, and they said, I'll never take it again. Never take it again. It disrupts their menstrual cycle for months on end. They have a lot of symptoms of pregnancy, but they're not pregnant, so they keep coming in for a pregnancy test because they're just sure they're pregnant, but they're not. And with the RU486, it can be very dangerous as well. So there's a lot of bleeding involved. There's a lot of cramping involved. There can be a lot of sickness involved. It's very unpleasant to take these drugs, and we don't know the long-term effects of them or the long-term effects of her future fertility as well.
Okay, well, that's not any of it good news.
No, it's not. It's not healthy for the woman, and it's going to be a very unpleasant experience to go through, and we don't know the long-term effects of how this is going to affect your body.
Carrie, I've got a million more questions. I hope we're out of time today, but I hope you'll join us for a couple more sessions so that we can get to the bottom of this whole mess. Folks, tomorrow's election day. If you haven't voted, I encourage you to get out and do that. I know there's not a lot to choose from. It's like getting to the donut shop at 10 o'clock in the morning. You're going to have to just take what's left and pick the least of the worst that you can find, but please vote, and until next week, God bless.